And today I will be interviewing Glen Powell and Greg Tarzan Davis, who play Hangman and Coyote in the new film Top Gun Maverick.
Woo!
Welcome to
Woo! Woo!
I don't want to interrupt the woos.
No.
Welcome to DC, first of all.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the movie. I was just talking about it downstairs. I've seen it twice now.
Great.
I'll probably see it 2 more times. Yeah, loved it. So, this movie, you guys have been waiting for it to come out for almost 2 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And now, I mean, you've been around the world. You've been at Cannes. You've been in London. What has it been like seeing it on a big screen with the crowd after all this time?
I mean, I'll take the first one because I got to see it with a crowd before anybody else did in the cast.
Lucky.
I was in Vegas for CinemaCon, and so I got to watch it with a live audience at CinemaCon. And I think the thing that made it the most special was CinemaCon is all the theater owners around the world. They come to this one conference, and they sit there, and the studios tell them about all their upcoming movies. What I realized is that attendance for CinemaCon was higher than it has ever been. They said it's because Top Gun Maverick. All these theater owners were so excited that Top Gun was there. Yeah. And when I watched, you have to think about all these theater owners also saw their mortality flash between their eyes, in front of them because they were like, "Oh, is the theater business dead?" Our theatrical movies, the IMAX experience, Dolby, this where people you can watch movies with strangers, and this event thing, is that gone forever? Are we just in a streaming world? That ecosystem was potentially going to die, and they thought that. And to watch Top Gun Maverick, which I think is one of the most cinematic, theatrical, big movies that I've seen in forever, to watch it with them. There were grown men sobbing, being like, "We're saved. The theater business is saved." And I think that's what I found to be so special about this. But it's because that, and also watching this movie with other people, it's an experience we haven't had in a long time. And especially after after that experience has been gone from our lives for such a long time, I feel like we have an appreciation for what that experience is, and I think this movie is a perfect celebration of it.
Yeah, made me cry, and I'm not even a theater owner, so what did that say?
You would be the youngest theater owner of all time.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, I'd be like, man, this boss he's like, I'm the CEO of AMC. I'm like, what?
It's like baby
You?
They hire young now. What can I say? And your character, Hangman. Pretty much the moment we meet him, he's vying for this position. I apologize. Position of team leader.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Who's going to be team leader up there?
Who did you see as the team leader on set while you're making the movie?
I mean, I don't know if there was a team leader on set. It felt like Tom is the team leader. You're right. Tom's the team leader. Yeah. All right. I mean, but I was talking about the young guns. Of the young guns, like I felt like it was sort of just like we were all in the trenches together. I don't think anybody was team leader. I think that's what makes this group really, really special is everybody loves each other. Everybody was in the trenches together. Nobody's in their comfort zone. It's not like anybody came into this thing a naval aviator or a pilot. So we were all kind of in the deep end together, and we all had to swim together. And that was like, especially a guy who didn't know how to swim before this movie and had to pass a swim phys, learned how to swim from the U.S. Olympic swim coach, which is pretty incredible. But I think that's what made this thing is I don't think there's competition in the movie, and there's competition among each other on to do our best, but I don't think this movie was led by a leader other than Tom. I think you're right.
Yeah, for sure.
And Greg, you studied elementary education before pursuing acting.
I could have been your teacher.
You very well could have been. I'm curious, what advice would you have to give to Maverick as far as teaching goes?
Oh, wow. That is a question I've never gotten. Dang. I wish I would have said that question in my last interview when somebody asked what's the question that you've never gotten before that you wish you would have gotten. Wow. Be patient with your students and understand that they're going to find their way. Let them learn how to find it and don't force it upon them. Wow, that is a good. And then you're telling me to teach Tom. And that's kind of
That's fair. I apologize.
Kind of
That's a
tough,
bit of a
but
task.
no,
watching.
he's sitting right there watching me. Ooh. No, yeah, I think it'll just be patient and understand that the students will come around and learn the lesson that you're trying to teach them without forcing it.
So we have to talk about filming in the cockpit, of course. How much space did you have? Where exactly were the IMAX cameras? How close were they to you?
I mean, they gave me obviously a bigger cockpit than everybody else. I had some serious real estate.
He's cocky.
It was yeah, the cockiest pit.
The cockiest pit. That's what they gave him.
I mean, there's not. I mean, when you're in the back of these 18s, it's more spacious than an extra 300. That's for sure. Which is what we sort of got our G tolerance up on and learned all the aerobatic maneuvers on that plane.
No, you think so?
I think so.
Because in the F-18, I felt like there was like the wall that I had to like this. The extra I was able to do a little bit more of this.
Oh, really?
Well, am I tripping?
I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe it's comparable. I always felt like there was more room in the 18 to kind of do everything. But when you put cameras in there,
And
your
you have
sight
all
line,
your gear on.
and you got your gear on, you gotta all this gear in case you eject out. It's like a parachute attached to you. You got the G suit to help push blood up your leg so you don't pass out. Which in turn also sometimes pushes breakfast out of you as well. It's like I think it never felt claustrophobic. It's not that actually isn't the tough part about the 18. The 18, what makes the 18 tough is the position in which you're sitting, and the degree in which those G's are exerting on your body at any given point. It can be highly uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's a thrill ride of a lifetime. When it's great, it's great. But when that 18 is when you're pulling sustained G's and doing all that, it's a really tough seat.
And did you feel yourself altering your performance at all, knowing that you'd be filtered through like this IMAX format where everything you're choosing to do is on a much bigger canvas?
It's actually interesting because that was actually a conversation that Tom did bring up when we would give variation. So you only have like one flight on certain maneuvers, so you go, hey, here's what you're up there to go get, right? We don't know necessarily what we're going to need for the edit, how it's going to piece together, all that stuff. So what we would do is we'd go, here's the maneuvers that you need to pull. Here's the variations in performance. Here's where I need the altitude, the airspeed, all that stuff. And there were times in which I'd go, okay, I'm going to give a subtle look, something small that the audience may register. Then you got to, sell a real look if it's visceral and something intense is happening. You don't know if the audience is going to need something big and drastic and to sell it with your body, or if the audience is going to be punching in on your eyes. There's 4 cameras going.
Yeah.
So those are 4 different lenses have different emotional impact when you use them. So you are basically have to give 4 different performances for any given look, depending on what that camera's going to see. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we were very aware. Tom even showed us when you're sitting like this, it's different when you're sitting like this in that camera. Because those degrees in an IMAX format, it's drastically different. And so you have to be, he made us all filmmakers. Like you have to be very aware of what that impact is and give variations on that so that Eddie Hamilton, who's the editor who had the hardest job in the entire world on this movie, could do the thing. Sorry, I've been talking on this thing.
No. I love hearing your voice. It sounds nice. I can listen to Hangman all day.
So I'm going to speed round a couple before they throw me out.
Okay.
Speaking of throwing people out, there's a point in this movie where you have to toss Maverick out of a bar into the sand. And I want to get a sense of what are your thoughts while you're doing that? Like, you're essentially chucking your boss out of a door. Was there any anxieties during that?
It was all improvised. I didn't, it wasn't even scripted. I was like, Tom, you got to go. That moment was especially funny because they were so concerned that I was going to hurt Tom. Because I think I was also I came in a little coming in hot, and they were like, hey, let's not hurt Tom. And I was like, I'm not going to hurt Tom. And they're like, all right, well, when you throw him out of the bar, just barely throw him onto the sand. I was like, all right, cool. And they go, you know what? just kind of guide him. He'll throw himself. I was like, okay, cool. And they go, you know what? Just don't even touch Tom. And I was like, well, how am I? I have to throw him out of the bar and not touch him. And the funniest part was when I throw him, like, so we get to that moment and we basically pretend to guide him out. And so I like don't even touch him. And Tom kind of like stumbles on the steps and he looks back at me and he's like, what are you doing, man? And I was like, oh, they told me not to touch you. He goes, I fall off of buildings for a living, man. He's like, throw me off the stairs. Like that. Like, it's such a thing. Is like, you realize like, yeah, Tom does the most dangerous stunts in the world. And they were worried about me throwing him off of like 5 stairs, you know,
soft sand.
Into the soft sand. Yeah. You know, he's as tough as they come. But then I got to really throw him in the sand the next take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Maverick is back.
Yep.
36 years later. Where do you think Coyote and Hangman will be 36 years from now?
That's a
36 years. Well, hopefully moving around like Tom.
I think that puts us at 2058.
20. Well, we got flying cars, so flying an F-18 won't be anything special anymore.
That actually makes it kind of interesting. The fact that F-18s aren't around. We got to dig up an old relic. It'd be more like Terminator, like a whole global shutdown. All the digital stuff is gone. We got to go full analog. Like, you know,
and we're the only pilots who are able to save the day. So yeah, there it is. And then somehow Maverick comes back.
There's the pitch. There's the pitch to Paramount right there. And finally, my last.
We'll sell this thing 36 years in advance,
so they can have the budget for us.
Exactly.
You do it. You do it like Linklater. You know, you shoot the beginning
funny.
and then you shoot the real bit 30 years from now.
We'll pitch the Coyote Hangman movie to Linklater and see if he wants to do this as a long project. That's a funny idea.
And finally, who wins in a dogfight, Coyote or Hangman?
It's not a question.
Okay.
Coyote.
Coyote?
Yeah.
Thoughts?
I thought we were on the same side until just now. But
Oh, I'm not gonna lie.
You learn a lot about your wingman.
Well, I wouldn't lie in interviews, so yeah, no.
Well, thank you both so much for talking with me today.
So fun.
Top Gun Maverick comes out May 27th. Go see it. I laughed, I cried, I cheered, etc. This is Benjamin Price signing off. See you next time. Bye.